the virus, COVID-19, better known as coronavirus, it's a thing and it's everywhere. It started in China, leaping from animal, from their cages or whatnot, to humans. And being in the humans, and in the bad atmospheric environment with lots of smog, densely communicable areas, it spread. China tried to keep a lid on it, but people traveled to China a lot. I mean, a lot. And China was doing their best to keep it concealed, but the problem is when you get sick and they don't know what's wrong with you, they have to ask you, where have you been? And that all says, I was in China just last month. I was in China just a week ago. I was in China 2 months ago. I was fine until So when you get enough cases saying, hey, China, what's wrong with you? China says, oh yeah, we got this. My bad. We're sorry. It is too late. Even though the reports came out that the coronavirus did stem from China, all right, it came out of China that we know of, because we don't fully know. China is very far north. In the true scheme of things, any piece of ice could have broken off, melted, released it, and then it just found its way to China first, or other places, but China was the first place to acknowledge it. There are many other variables. It didn't even have to do that with enough jet streams hovering around and across the poles. It is easy that any ice could have melted when the Arctics are reaching 66 degrees now, that any layer of ice could have melted or been drilled into, and then that virus pulled out by mistake. And, well, unintended consequence that would be. This means it could have also gotten out because people can't stop drill, baby, drill. Even if it's just for cores to understand what they've been drilling cores for the past 40 or 50 years to figure out. Which that, to me, I don't fully understand. You know what the land mass is like. They also found still unfrozen, subglacial lakes. It could have been there. There could have been fish there that just deal with it and don't have a problem because there's nothing to them. There are many other factors, many. But for all we do know, from what anyone can say, it came from China. And therefore, the blame would lie with them. And the problem when you blame something, you have to make sure you do it responsibly, because if somebody wrongs you and you want justice, you seek it, you get it, be done with it. But when you keep seeking justice, you go from the victim to the attacker. And it's a fine line, because there's only but so much revenge or rage you can get or exploit or expose before you're now the bad guy. COVID-19, or coronavirus, I'll just say coronavirus because that's more on people's lips because that's what they heard first. It did spread, yes. And I was wondering, how is it spreading? No one was talking about how it was spreading. They were just saying you can get it. You can get it. People are spreading it. At first, that's what they were saying. And then they were saying that if you're in contact with someone, no one knew. The only thing for sure that the coronavirus was doing was spreading from person to person, leaping quickly, swiftly, and nobody was able to stop it. It's uncurable because they don't know anything about it. And when you think about that, when they say there's no cure for it, you need to understand that's probably also fear mongering. Why? Because there's no cure for the flu. There's no cure for the cold. There's no cure for
hand, foot, and mouth.
Yeah, hand, foot, and mouth.
RSV, norovirus. You just got to deal with it.
You have to just deal with it. There's a lot of things there's no cure for, or if there is a cure for, they will not administer said cure because the money is not in the cure. The money is in treating your symptoms and just telling you to deal with it. The flu has gone around for so long, many a time. No one blames anyone else for it. Where did it start? How did it start? Who spread it first? Who maybe created it or whatnot? No one knows. No one cares. You get the flu, you're messed up, but they got a way to suppress your symptoms, but not get rid of the flu. But it helps your body fight the flu when you are healthy enough to keep producing white blood cells. AIDS kills, it attacks the T cells and prevents from creating the white blood cells to help fight off any diseases. This does not do that. However, it at first was debilitating. The only thing they realized within the first month and a half, because when you get something new, you have to figure out what it is, they realized it was only killing the young and the elderly, those who were mostly immune compromised. Even the elderly that are not immune compromised were safe from it. In terms of death, they could get it, get sick, and recover from it. Now, also, some reports have said that the coronavirus, you can have it for 2 weeks and spread it, and no one will ever know. You will never know. So you don't spread it for 2 weeks before you show any signs of having this virus.
Not everybody's gonna get sick.
I don't know if they can hear you from over there.
When it comes to viruses, not everybody gets sick. Just because you're in contact with the flu doesn't mean that you're gonna get it. You could just be a carrier. Case in point, everybody in this house was sick. You had the flu, offspring had the flu, I was sick, but I didn't have the flu.
Me and my baby girl had the flu, but Sidra, she did not have the flu. She just had a cold. She had almost every symptom we did.
Except fever and dizziness.
No fever and no dizziness. When it comes to the coronavirus, there are people that they'll say, oh, it's just like a cold, don't worry about it. And it might be. It might be simply a cold. And you could get it confused, but then again, it should be all right. But what happened is we don't learn. This coronavirus, yes, is scary. And there are reports that'll say only 2% of people are dying from it. Now, I'm not going to crunch any numbers. I could have before I started recording and just had it written down on the index card in front of me. But no, 2% of 7.7 billion people, that is a lot of people to die. And just like when it comes to the wealthy people and how they're treating everyone, it's not the 2% that gets sick. It's whom of that 2% gets sick that matters to people. Of course, if you're not sick and you don't have to worry about it and others are dying from it, you're just following it. And you're following the news and you're listening and you're like, and oh, those people, that's what they get. You get judgmental. But if it's somebody close to you, they get sick. Then you get scared. They die. And you saying it's everywhere. Now you're in your full-blown panic. Am I next? When is it happening here? It's all about who of that 2% is sick. We had the chance and the ability to have this virus teach us to legitimately join together and find a way to fight something. If this were maybe 50 or 60 years ago, there would have been a chance of there's the coronavirus. It is reported. The CDC is looking into it best that they can. They are talking with foreign officials and their scientists, or I think oncologists or anything like that.
No, not oncologist.
This is what oncologist. What would it be? Just it's some kind of viral researcher.
Virologist.
Virologist.
Oncologist.
Okay.
Cancer.
Cancer. Yeah, that thing that doesn't really get talked about, but kills more people than the coronavirus. Anyway, I want y'all to think about that for a second.
Here's the thing. If you look at history,
This is the thing?
this is one of the things.
Okay.
If you look at history, there have been multitudes of pandemics that have wiped out large numbers of society, not just American society. We're talking about global society. I can't think of all of them. You can be cozy. You'll find it. The plague was one of them. Shrink down the population down to a lot less than what it is now. And we haven't had in modern history a serious pandemic. I don't want there to be one, but we might be due.
We could have used this, as I said, to come together. Back in the day, in the 50s, it would have been let's fund research, and it would have asked every U.S. citizen to pitch in, donate what you can, and let's find a cure for this. And people would have thrown their money out like it was toilet paper. But they didn't. That's not what happened. When it comes to the coronavirus, just before the coronavirus got started, President Donald J. Trump defunded by about $2 to $3 billion the Central of Disease Control, the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, the CDC, which is why I also use the acronym or abbreviations and whichever it is. A what? Okay, I heard abbreviations. Okay, it's hard to hear. My ears are clogged. And she's cleaning up, but he defunded it, and now they have to do research. And he takes their money and tells them to do more. I made the comparison of a couple of episodes ago. So now it's time. And Trump, using fear-mongering, says that he can protect you. He's going to do great, yada, yada, yada. And his supporters are like, yes, Trump will protect us somehow with his angelic glow. His white nationalist Confederate flag wearing glow. That's what they're thinking. Now, this has also exploited exactly how some things are worse for us, because it's not the coronavirus that's bad. It's the people that are bad. Instead of understanding this stems from China, it's a China thing and it might spread to us, please stop all air travel when you find out where it comes from. Those who are already there on the ground that has been to China, isolate them immediately. Anyone that is going to China, keep your ass on the plane and come back. Or once you land, get into a concealed environment, all right, and stay there and be safe. And if you do contact it, then they can help you, because they right now would have the leading edge on dealing with it. But that did not happen. No one stopped air travel. No one confined themselves. And as you found out in here and in other countries and provinces, people who could have been or were told to stay inside that did have it said they don't have it, and they left and they spread it. Case in point, a pastor who contracted the virus was told to stay inside and not leave the house. But instead, even though he's coughing, sneezing, runny nose, and he said he was diagnosed with it, he says, I don't have it, I have a cold, and now his congregation is catching it. That is what's happening. And this happens not long after many preachers, televangelists, and others are saying that the coronavirus is here to punish the sinful, to punish the homosexuals, and all this. So right now, with that logic, this preacher has proven that he and everyone in his congregation are homosexual sinners. And that is when you reverse the logic onto those that want to dish out hatred and try to say that whatever happens is because of these people that are doing things that we don't like. There was a chance to say that this could bring us together and start fighting the virus properly, and then opening our eyes to each other and showing exactly what we could be at our best as human beings. But we only can show our worst foot. We protect our best foot, show our worst foot, trying to protect that best foot. We'll kick the helpers in the face and talking about standing on our own and then die alone. That is what we do best. Case in point, the virus comes here and black people and white people alike, even American Mexicans, are first hating on who? Anyone and anything that looks Asian. It matters not if they have been from Hawaii, they have been from China, they have been from Japan, they have been from Mongolia, they have been from multiple areas. But the problem is, and this is the kicker, they are descendants of those people. They grew up here. They were born here. Their parents were born here. They all were here before the virus was here. And they ask, this exploits the stupidity of people. This is why people like me and Conquering Thought and some others, honestly, this originated with me and Conquering Thought. That's why we say people are stupid. They ask the question, can you get the coronavirus from eating Chinese food? Not even Chinese food is Chinese. However, if the people in a Chinese restaurant is cooking food, it does not leak from Central Asia or whatever borders close to Russia. It cannot. No, I'm talking about, I don't know. I know it's China, but I don't know if it's a province or whatnot. I don't know if it's a village, the closest thing to Russia. I don't know. Good grief, I can't think of whatever our most southern counties are that border South Carolina. Oh, okay. Yeah, not North Carolina border South, yeah, that. But they're not thinking that, hey, it's going to lead from northeastern Asia and just magically appear. Okay, that's what they're thinking. It's going to magically appear in a bowl of rice here in the United States of America. That's what they're thinking. That was one of the things that somebody had said. They said, I love General Tso's chicken, but I don't know if I'm going to get the coronavirus from eating it. And yes, sadly, this happens to be a white person that's saying it. It was a woman. So it had to be a woman, didn't it? It would have had to have been a woman. That's what she was like. It had to be a woman, didn't it? I don't know if you can hear her or not. So that's what's exploiting things. An Asian woman walks into a shop, coughs, and everybody leaves. No one thinks, wow, that person is here and the coronavirus has only hit, at the time, just Asia, a few parts of Russia, and India. They're not thinking that. They're thinking, you're Asian, you got it. There are kids at school that got bullied, ostracized, beat up, and damn near killed just because they are Asian. No, that's wrong of me. Not because they're Asian. They got beat up and almost killed and ostracized because their peers are stupid with stupid parents. It is erroneous to say that someone got beat up because of what they are. That puts the onus on them, and it's not. The onus is on the ones that can't think past their own nose and lead with fear. Finally, what I want to point out is this virus has different strains. And it's already been having different strains. The flu has different strains. The cold has different strains. There is no cure for anything that develops different strains. The coronavirus is airborne. It's always been airborne. That's how it spreads fastest. It would make sense. But they'd say wash your hands and all this other stuff, which you should already do. Everything they're telling you to do to protect yourself best that you can from this virus are the things that you should do in general. Wash your hands before you touch your face. Try not to touch your face because that's where it's going to contact the most. Your face is going to absorb any and everything, as well as produce any and everything, as people with acne and other stuff knows. So keep that in mind. It's airborne. It's you cough at almost this, literally just as the speed of sound for the first 3 or 4 inches. And then it stays in the air. We don't know how long the virus stays alive outside the body. That's different. The flu and whatnot usually has about 5 days. That's what I learned as a kid. I don't know if that's changed. I don't. But we know that you get the flu and you're immune compromised, you have a higher risk of dying from that and or catching pneumonia along with it. And as you learn, pneumonia stays in the body anyway. It doesn't really leave at all. So it is bacterial. There's also, isn't there, Sidra, a viral form of pneumonia? Or is it only bacterial?
No, there are, I have to look up about the virus. I know there's fungal pneumonia. There is bacterial pneumonia. I'm not sure about viral pneumonia.
Okay, bacterial and fungal.
Those I'm positive of.
When it comes to the coronavirus, no one knows extremely how deadly it is, but just keep in mind, it has only killed 0.6 to 0.8 more people than the flu. So, yes, it's deadlier than the flu, but not by much. And if you want to get a hold on the coronavirus, you're going to have to get a hold on influenza and the common cold. Also, the warm airs can stop some viruses from spreading, but not all viruses are stopped by warmer air, such as spring and summer. In the summer, usually when school's getting out is when everyone gets the cold or flu. Roughly May, mid to late May, everyone starts getting extremely sick. People can confuse this with allergies. Winter here has only been 3 weeks. There's been 3 weeks of cold air. And when I say cold, I'm talking about 44 and under. The reason the colds and flus and viruses spread faster during colder seasons, because people are far more communal, but at the same time, people are going in and out of cold and warm air. And that is a perfect breeding ground for a virus. Not only have you weakened your immune system by breathing in the different extremes of temperature and air, but the virus is going to be all right in cold air. It cools it and it kind of keeps it alive a little bit longer. And in your body where it's warm, it's going to latch on. Your body doesn't recognize it. It gets to run roughshod until it starts to harm the body. That's when your immune system strongly kicks in. It notices certain things of the flu, and it can fight it a bit faster. Coronavirus is never met, so it's going to have to learn, and that's when the coronavirus leaves the body after already being attacked by some blood cells, which is why it spreads so fast. So please just take care of yourselves properly. Do the things that you know you need to do in general. Don't blame or accuse or fear someone simply because they're not you, especially if they're not white. And in cases that I've heard recently, because, well, they ain't black, they Asian, they just get it. No, that's dumb. That's too dumb to really fully comment on. Go somewhere, curl up, suck your thumb with a dunce hat on. Everyone needs to know that this is not an Asian thing. It's not a black thing, a white thing. It's not a Mexican thing. This is worldly. Everyone is catching it. Everyone can catch it. And most likely everyone will catch it. At some point, you will get it. This is an inevitable. And you can't blame the Asians because you don't know for sure exactly who or where it came from. Be better, people. It's one thing to be dumb. It's another to double down on it. You don't have to. You can be better. Even though I talk about putting your worst foot forward first, it's all right to take that step and put your best foot forward. This had the chance to have everyone say, we need to pitch in, get the CDC money, regulate them properly, we could have led the cure. But there will be no cure, there will be symptom management. You need to understand that. There are a lot of things out there, and there's going to be more. It's sad to say, all the lessons that we could have learned, should have learned, and have the opportunity to learn will not, because no matter what springs up, it will always and forever be, due to our stupidity, pearls before swine. This has been Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.